Hello everyone and welcome back to OMLN4 Long No Tournament 4th edition. We are continuing on this wonderful Sunday weekend of round of 16 matches, slowly but surely wrapping up the remaining matches we have left. I believe we have 2 left of this weekend before we send you on your way to the quarterfinals. And for this match, we are going to have a pretty interesting one. This will be our second to last match of the weekend, and it is going to be LS Astal versus Bagjettka, 2 insanely well-known players in the Osmania community. I don't think any of these players need an introduction, but LS Astal, very strong in that density department, also is not shy to pull off insanely good release scores when needed. Overall, an insane well-rounder. And I would also be bold and call her a rising star in the community, kind of silently rising their way up through the rankings here. And Bagjettka does not also really need any introduction as well. A very strong Polish player, has represented Poland in countless Mania World Cups, has participated in a lot of tournaments, and really shines bright on the LN performance, and also that coordination will definitely be a big role in this match, as that 6th place in stage 1 shows. Both these players actually managed to make their way through the round of 16 via win by defaults. Astal managing to win off of Yan Hong not showing up, and Bagjettka getting a win by default by Z Curry in the prior round of 16 first match. So both these players don't really have much information to go off from each other, so it's going to be a bit interesting to see how this match goes. And actually, oh my, I was about to say Bagjettka is not in the lobby, but Bagjettka is online, so I think we might actually have a match. Here we go! We have everybody in the lobby, and we are all set to go, and I can actually form a proper introduction. As always, I am Sunny, and I will be riding solo for this match. And I'm honestly very excited to see how this match will go. This is a loser's bracket match, so the loser will go home. And it's basically winner take all here, and Astal gonna win the role. They will get that first pick, and interesting to see how this protector ban phase will go. I immediately assume potentially we're gonna see a density stay on the board here. If she opts for that first protect, I think a density map would be the way to go. Maybe density 2, or if she feels like a density 3 as well. And we're gonna see here. It looks like she will be going for that density 2 protect. Okay. So I would assume the first protect is on the board. They will go for density 2 here. And makes sense, honestly. That is a map that I feel you should be comfortable the most on. UE's density definitely can wear out your opponent too if you're not careful. 200 BPM density. And for Bagjettka, I wouldn't be surprised if they keep up one of our 3 coordination picks on the board. Maybe coordination 3 or maybe coordination 1 as well. We will have to see what Bagjettka thinks here. I'm just still waiting on what Bagjettka wants to go. I mean, both of these players probably know each other very well. They probably versed each other a lot in previous tournaments just because of how much they like to play in tourneys. Wouldn't be surprised if these two came across each other one way or another. And yeah, I knew there would be a coordination protect on the side of Bagjettka. I feel it's going to be a coordination versus density matchup here. I feel both these players are really going to stay in their respective zones, and I feel a density map will be knocked off the board here. Bagjettka going to knock off density 3 here, and for Astal, I don't know what I would go for. Maybe coordination 3 or tech 1. I think her coordination ability is very strong, but is it on the same level as Bagjettka? That is the question. I could also see potentially a wild card going away. Maybe wild card 1. Or okay, yeah, coordination 3 gonna get knocked off here. Makes sense. Gonna try to limit your opponent's shock suits as much as you possibly can. And with that, we can get underway with this match. Astal will be getting that first pick of the litter, so I wouldn't be surprised if he immediately jumps into maybe Density 1. Or maybe, I think also maybe Wildcard 3 would make a good approach as well. It is quite physical, although it's not very, I would say very... Oh, actually, Wildcard 1, okay. So gonna stick in the Wildcard range, but not the one I was expecting here, but this one also makes sense. And both of these players going in on a sight read, oh boy. If there's one thing I always say to players, never, ever sight read your match. Never sight read. But I guess both these players maybe had a pretty busy week, didn't really have the chance to play, but we're gonna see. I guess Bagjettka is tuned in to the stream. Always sight read the match. Comment. Hey, Bagjettka, I'm just one guy. You don't have to listen to what I say. Mute the stream, buddy. And Astal gonna put on the mirror mod. Typical on what you'd see. I feel she has found a lot more comfort on mirror. And here we go, underway with our first map here. And I feel with the strategy here, I know Astal very hard to find a miss in any of these maps. I know she's a very strong brute force player, and it takes a lot for a player like her to miss. Her consistency is 101. So I feel with Bagjetka's strategy here to maybe try to steal a breakpoint or something, or take a point off of their own pick, is to maybe just try to throw that comfort level just a bit too much off. Maybe even utilize some of those tech picks where things do get a bit more tricky. But a map like this, fairly tame for the most part. Lots of these shields, these bursty LN, some of these flams here and there. Staggered releases hidden throughout this map as well. And you can really see that ratio as well, pulling off very well on the side of Astal here. Her UR bar very centered, and Bagjettka is a bit more on that later side. You can see that UR bar hanging just a bit late, but nothing too much. I feel it's just they're collecting a lot more 300s than the side of Astal at this current moment right now. And although it's only around a 4,000 point differential, that is a miss, about as big as a miss. So both these players not really, it's still anyone's game here as we head into our final third of the map here. The tempo does increase a little bit here, so the density does get a bit more faster. But right now, Astal 99.84 right now. Bagjettka not too far behind, about 0.2% of the way through, as a little bit of these snapping changes could potentially throw off a player here if they're not careful on where these LNs end. But on with the final section of the map here now, 99.82 to 99.58, around 6,000 points of difference. Here we go on with the final section of the map. I think maybe Astal found maybe a collective amount of either 300s or a 200 here, but it won't matter at all. Astal will be picking up the first point of this match, and by quite a bit, 8,000 points, 994k, and Bagjettka, very strong performance as well, getting the FCN board, but it was just that those picking up a lot more 300s and a lot more 200s in contrast to Astal. Very, very good pick to start off this match, and Astal will take an early 1-0 lead here. And gonna see what Bagjettka is going to opt for next. Probably gonna just stick to that coordination way. Although I would say Tech 1 could also be a option, because I know some players like to refer to it as the kind of like the coordination 4. It is a very coordination heavy pick. And yep, I think Bagjettka is just sniping the picks off of what I say. I think. I don't know, but the secret coordination 4 will be coming out here. Kamui. And this is the shortest map in the pool as well, so you don't really have much to work with when it comes to this map. Although, if you've played it, like played this map, it is pretty easy to get nailed down to a T on, so I feel these players shouldn't really have any struggle at all with a map like this. It's very light. This is one of those occasions where these players are so good in their own, like, both these players are so good in their own respective way, where they can just treat this pool like it's a walk in the park, and like their skill cap doesn't even get hit until like semis or finals. So I feel whoever wins this match will be going a long way later on in the bracket when it comes to these maps, depending on how the difficulty scale goes. But either way, getting started with Kamui, Tech 1. Like I said, very, very short map. You don't really have much to go off of here. You just have to pray your accuracy game is top-notch. And, I mean, honestly, I feel this is a pretty good pick off of bagjettka. Like I said, probably bagjettka is going to focus more on that coordination range, and things you can see are already a lot better than what we saw on Wildcard 1. Even though this is just the opening section of the map where nothing really too crazy happens, still, like I said, very, very short. We're already a quarter of the way done here. I mean, right now, Astal managing to form a little bit of a lead here by roughly 500 points, just sheerly off of ratio, but the main section of this map is pretty tough to get down to a T, which we are rapidly approaching. And bagjettka does pick up a few 200s here. And here come these more inverse sections, these shields. Not gonna catch anybody up here. And now that's a 1/10 of a percentage of difference heading into a pure coordination section here with just these timings. I think no one really finding any struggle at all. Astal still ahead by a 1/10 of a percentage, but that can change at any given moment. Maybe that nerves factor could play a role if they are just maybe shaking a bit too much here. But, I mean, as the map concludes, there's only really these flams and these shields here. And down to our final quarter of the map now. bagjettka is dropping a bit down, 99.64 in contrast to 0.78, but we only have this final coordination section to go. These shields being a bit more abundant than before. And yeah, as this map wraps up, Astal does pick up a 200, but it's not going to matter. That is a 200 way too late in the map. And just like that, Astal is going to take the first breakpoint of this match. Gonna go up unanswered 2-0. Now, this is a pretty dangerous situation if you are currently in bagjetka's shoes right now. Giving up a breakpoint to Astal, and I feel Density 1 could be an option for her, or Wildcard 3. Very solid scores from everyone. You can see that ratio factor and the 200s definitely were closer on this pick. So very, very good option on the side of bagjettka to maybe try and get something here. But just slightly off. Nothing too much, but... And Astal gonna stick to their guns, gonna go for Density 1. So going up for Full Metal. What's with this round and having so many bad words? I thought we were PG. I guess we're PG-13 now. But gonna save that Density 2 in their back pocket. I think maybe if Astal does manage to take a breakpoint off of bagjetka's next pick, that will be thrown in. But who knows? Here we go though, with Full Metal Alchemist. Yep. Density 1. And Astal opened up this map with a 200. I think maybe that first note lag hitting in here, but I mean, this is Astal's specialty right here. Her density pulls off very well, especially in that ratio factor. And I feel even just with that 200 alone, she's already made a very fast recovery in just less than a minute of the map being played here. Although Bagjettka now can strike very quick at any given moment, because this is only a 500 point lead between these two players. It's just, can you really match up with Astal's ratio is the question. Because right now, 0.81 with only with one 200 is a bit frightening. And Bagjettka dropping a couple 200s themselves actually down to that 99.5 big component, as these density patterns do get a bit more tough here, as it is fairly consistent with its mapping. There's nothing really like any curveballs being thrown at you here. It's just all four-seam fastballs. And very 200 heavy if you are not careful with these releases. And we're back with the textbook density here. 0.49 on the side of Bagjettka. Releasing a bit early on these, actually, on these releases here. And Astal managing to roughly almost stay in that 99.8 range as we head into the back half of the map here. A little bit of a break section for these players to gain their accuracy back up, but nothing really too much 2 points out here. And Bagjettka still behind by 0.3 of a percentage, but still, anything can happen. That lead is only a miss of difference apart. So if Astal's consistency falls just a little bit by the slightest of margins, that lead could immediately flicker onto the side of Bagjettka if she is not careful. But like I previously mentioned at the beginning of the stream, her consistency is 101. Very, very strong, consistent player. So right now, 4,000 notes in, still not a single break to be found in this map at all. Even with its length, even with how dense this can be at some times. Heading into our final sixth of the map here. And Bagjettka just trying their hardest to keep their head in the game here. It's almost 10,000 points of difference as the map continues on. And I mean, there's not really much left of this map to go outside of this outro. As we're about to hit that 5,000 combo mark, it's not really going to matter. And the final LNs come raining down, and Astal going to go up 3-0 in this match. 993, almost a 99.8% here, and getting only 500 300s. Wow. And also a very solid effort as well from Bagjettka as well. FC from them, only 12 200s. Ratio really played a big role in that differential here. And Bagjettka not going to waste a minute here. Going to immediately jump for Coordination 2, also known as our carbon dioxide pick here. Going to opt for Integral Cube. And, I mean, honestly, whoa, we're not going for your Protect here. Interesting. I thought maybe the Protect would be thrown out, but I guess not. Maybe Bagjettka knows something that we don't know. We're gonna have to see here. But also, very solid pick to go for here, honestly. I feel with any of these coordination picks we have left, Bagjettka will probably feel most comfort with these coordination, and that's where they have mainly stood in their picks. And this could potentially be their final pick of the match. This is a must-win for Bagjettka, and honestly, I feel it is doable with a map like this. All you really need to do is just out-ratio Astal, or just pray she gets a couple 200s on maps like this here. And here we go. With Integral Cube. I mean, we saw how close the last map was when it came to that ratio on Tech 1. So I feel it could happen just as long as maybe if a 200 is found, like I said, on Astal's side, or their ratio is just a bit shy in contrast to Bagjetka's. it could entirely be possible. And it's also a fairly short map as well, only around 2.5 minutes long here. And these players just really need to focus on these shields while also balancing out these releases that are on those more outer column ranges, those inner shields. And bagjettka actually going to pick up a 200, but I think Astal trades it back. So no harm, no foul here. It's just Astal now with that 100th of a percentage of accuracy in their favor. But now this lead is starting to flicker back a little bit. But bagjettka going to pick up a break. That's the first break we will see in this match. And now Astal, a near 10,000 point lead in her favor, heading into the back half of this map. That is a giant shot in the foot on the side of bagjettka, but not entirely out of the woods yet is Astal, as there is still a lot more map left to go. This final third is still left. There could be a trade, but if it doesn't happen now, then things will be detrimental. Because as this map continues on, as Astal continues to build up that accuracy, that lead will just continue to grow in her favor. 12,000 points now. Final quarter left to go. Some of these more releases starting to rain down here. Less more shield, more focus on just these timing of these LNs. And even with the 200, that's not going to do much, as you're going to need to trade back that miss. 13,000 points in her favor as the map is reaching its outro. Not enough time to swing any lead in favor of bagjettka. And Astal going to bring things to a match point situation. 993.1 on her side. And oh my. She would have taken that even if it weren't for the misses. Wow. That is frightening. But with that, Astal in a very comfortable position. They are in match point position right now. And also her pick, a crucial breakpoint, and it makes sense that she opts for density 2. And we are going to see too much fine women here. Oh wait, what's the fine? It's too much fine ladies. Yep. We're gonna see too much fine ladies come out here. Thank you, Bancho, for properly censoring names. And this is potentially the last pick of this match if Astal manages to pull off this pick. And honestly, I feel out of all the densities we have, this is probably the one that she will excel best in, honestly. This is I mean, honestly, if you are familiar with U-East, also known as, I forgot what their new name is now, but I think U-East should be enough. This is a pretty notorious map, so I feel maybe Astal has a few plays on it. Maybe bagjettka also has a few plays on it. Who knows, but ooh, we're going to see some early 200s here being dropped from Astal here to open up this map. And a break! Huh. But thankfully, the map just started for the side of Astal, so should not really matter most. But, I mean, that is a break nonetheless. That will give bagjettka a very, very early cushion to work with. But we know Astal's ratio is very, very good on density maps like this. And I would... Oh, okay. I thought an abort would have been thrown in, maybe, or something. I have no idea. But client just having a little hiccup there. We should be fine now. But yeah, as Astal's accuracy starts to climb up here, 99.64, almost tied up with bagjettka now. Almost overtaking their accuracy now as we're about to exit the first drop of this map. Now that lead is below 2,000 points. She is slowly climbing up, and it's starting to hit the triple digits almost. But I feel even just if bagjettka I feel that bagjettka just needs to hold on for dear life. But they can't rely 100% off Kalo because Astal is almost a full 10th of a percentage ahead of bagjettka right now. And if she manages to run away with this lead in just pure accuracy, then it's going to be dangerous for bagjettka. They need to keep her in check in accuracy, or another break is found. But I think with that early slider break and a couple 200s out of the way, I feel now that lead's starting to flicker on the side of Astal. Now a whole 10th of a percentage of difference, if not more. And heading into our final break of this map before we head into our last drop. 1/3 left to go. 400 points is the difference of it all. And I think all that will be is a 200 on Astal's side that can swing this in favor of Bagjettka. 377 points. Oh my goodness. This is a close one. And I mean, Bagjettka needs to climb that accuracy ASAP, as Astal is starting to run away. 2,000 points in her favor right now, and this map is gonna near its final sections here. If Bagjettka manages to keep things in check, then that lead could swing back, but Astal has just run away so far with this accuracy lead. 0.2 of a percentage in her favor. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, Astal just punched her ticket into the losers quarterfinals. And I'm just wondering, how with one miss, almost 990 this map, and Bagjettka pulling off a wonderful score as well. Only 21 200s and very solid ratio as well. Despite Bagjetka's best efforts to just try and get on the board here, it unfortunately is not going to be enough. And Astal will be your winner for this match, 5-0. A sweep, but not a very clean one, as things looked very dicey here and there. But with that, Astal will win this match 5-0 and will successfully punch her ticket into the losers quarterfinals. Unfortunately, we're going to have to say goodbye to Bagjettka. They had one hell of a run in this tournament, but all good things must come to an end. But for Astal, it is not over yet, as she will be staying alive in this tournament. And with that, she will be going up against, I believe, Flowerful. I think. If we can find... There it is. Yep, she will be going up against Flowerful next weekend in the losers quarterfinals. It is going to be a 1-seed differential match here. Seed 18 versus Seed 17. That is going to be a match you don't want to miss out on. But with that, there is only one match left to go. And that is going to be Senzawa versus Darkachizer at 20 UTC. So do not go anywhere. Actually, that will be in 4 hours. So take a little break. We will be back at 20 UTC for our last match of the round of 16 to properly put a bow on this wonderful weekend we've had. But for now, I've been Astal commentating this match. We will see you all later. Goodbye, everyone. Take care.